for our farmhouse fall pumpkins. And I have ribbon remnants along with a leftover ribbon spool. This had originally held the 3-inch wide ribbon. Also, to make the stem for your pumpkin, you could use some broken pieces or leftover ice cream sticks to make it. And that's probably what I will do, because this will give it character. If I take this one ice cream stick and I glue parts and pieces of these others to it so that it's kind of got a up and down, and then that way I can make it as tall or as short as I like. And what I'll do is I'll actually glue these to each other, and these have some broken shards, so they could be dangerous, you know, but in this pumpkin they're not going to hurt anything. And like I said, they'll give it some character, and there'll be different levels, and I'll be wrapping this with some ribbon or fabric or something of the sort. And then that way they don't have to be so perfect. You can use whatever you've got. That's why they call it DIY, because we can make it work. That's what we do. We are DIYers, guys. Okay, so that's going to be my stem. Now I've got that glued together. I am using leftover ribbon remnants fairly wide, and I'm not really worried about that, because you're just going to let this bow out a little bit. You're not going to make it square. You're going to give it some distance. Let it poke out at least an inch or two, and then that way you can put that where you want it and bow it out as much as you like. They just need to kind of match. So once you decide how far out you want this to bow, and just be consistent with your loops. And that's exactly what I will do. So I'll make sure that my loops are consistently the same distance on each side. And then that way I can kind of look at it like that, flip it over, put my dab of glue, and put my ribbon down. Then any extra, I'll just cut off because I'm not going to need it. I continued gluing my ribbon across there and bowing it out, and just checking it to make sure that they were even and all the same length and size. And it took approximately 4 strips, and I just did mine in various colors of the ribbon I had left over. So once you glue your ribbon on, guys, you may have to cut your hole like I did. And then I'm going to stick my sticks in there. I'm going to mark it with my marker so I know how far down to wrap my sticks. And you can bring your ribbon in tighter if you want to. It doesn't have to be like right there at it. You don't have to be bowed out this far. You can actually put it closer to your spool if you want to. And this is just going to make it sit a little flatter. I've got this leftover burlap piece of ribbon that I used on the previous project, and I am just going to wrap that around my stick and make it look more like a pumpkin. So I finished my burlap off, and then I adorned my pumpkin after I glued the stick into the center with, you know, some leaves, some maple leaves that I had. And I had some berries, and I really wanted that variation of orange, red, purple. And then I had this little teeny tiny sunflower, and I decided that'd be perfect just right there. And here we are, guys, with the pumpkin done on our farmhouse decor fall DIY.
Hey there, let me introduce myself. I'm Elizabeth, and you have landed on the Dandysoap DIY channel, and I really appreciate you taking the time to view this video. You are probably coming from one of my pals on this playlist, but if you're not, the playlist link is in the description box, and if you click on it, it puts it in an autoplay, and you can roll right through there and watch everybody's video. Make sure you give them a thumbs up, subscribe to their channel if you like what they're doing, because they are a great group of gals. Now let me tell you a few things that I put on this video. This was a DIY inspiration put on by Elena Jenkins, DIY, and Michelle's Cozy Home, the co-host. Now, but what I wanted to add is I have made the mini topiary, and that was inspired by many of the mini topiaries I've seen. And guys, I just had to have one of my own. But what's really unique about this little mini pumpkin topiary is it's small. You can put it on a desk. You could give it to a great friend to get them in the fall spirit, someone who's shut in, or maybe someone in a rest home. Just a great little trinket gift to put on their desk or to sit about. The second thing that I have added in this video is everyone loves the truck. So do I. It is next to my heart. But I have added some feet and a light. And I think you guys will like the way I rigged it up. So enough of this chit-chatting along. We got to get back to crafting. So I'll see you in there.
This next pumpkin, Farmhouse Decor Pumpkin Express that I'm doing, you can use either the clay pots or you can use the metal favor pots from Dollar Tree. And they may be sold out of the clay pots already, so I'm recommending that you guys can use the little metal pots in the wedding section. And it's the same diameter, same size, pretty much. And we're going to do a little mini pumpkin topiary. And I've got leftover reindeer moss. I also have the little mini containers of Play-Doh, and these are perfect for putting weight in the bottom of your container, and you'll be able to cover it and not have to worry about your pumpkin taking off on you, your topiary. Additionally, you may want to have some skews. These are the little wooden skews. You can buy a pack of these also at Dollar Tree. So all these supplies, every single thing I'm using, came from the Dollar Tree, including the little pumpkins. So I've got two different varieties. These were the Halloween ones from last year, and I had painted them. So I'm going to fix them up and give them a little polish, so to speak. And I'm going to be using the more squatted one from this year, and it was also available last year. And just utilizing some of the pumpkins that I already have. And then, you know me, we'll probably use a variety of other things as well. The first thing I'm going to do is, because I'm already using this particular ribbon, I'm going to take this little piece I've got left over, and I'm going to attach it to my little pot here. And I am just making sure that I've got that matching. I'm only concerned about the front of it being seen, but sometimes we can kind of fool it. And that's basically what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put a little trim around that edge. And I'm basically going to glue it into place. And it shouldn't take but a spot on this clay pot. And that'll just hold it down for me. I'm going to put that wire edge up, because I can tuck that inside or I can cut it off. Next thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to take the Play-Doh, and this is very low, so it will sit down in there, but I'm going to kind of rub it a little bit with my hands and push it up, because the bottom of my little clay pot there is smaller in the bottom. I have some leftover blue jean scraps from a previous project when I did the For the Boys collaboration, and I'm just going to pack that in there. And I don't really need any glue, but I'm just going to do it just so I can get it all popped in there. So basically, you'll take your reindeer moss and your hot glue gun and lay you a layer down. Make sure you glued your filler down as well. Start putting your moss on top of that, and you're going to use a little bit of glue, a little bit of moss, a little bit of glue, a little bit of moss, until you get it packed on there. Then make sure you pick it up, give it a good look, and make sure that your moss is at least running over the pot for the time being. We'll trim it up later. And we have this pumpkin we can put there, and then we can pack the next one, and then the next one. Now this one, to cheer it up, I'm going to use this Agave by Waverly chalk paints. I'm going to actually cut that top off, because I'm going to be putting the other one on top of it. I am going to put some paint on it just so in case something comes through. Never know, because this is the one that's probably going to be on the top, and it will be the prize. Okay guys, we've got our moss bed on this first level. We've got our pumpkins painted, and on this pumpkin, since I'm going to be using it, I'm going to have to take this stem off because I'm going to be building these on top of each other. And I'm going to glue that directly to my moss bed down here. Try to center it as best as possible. And my next one is going to be my little green one. And I know I'm not going to need that much of a stem on him to put into the next pumpkin. That way they stay together. Okay. And then our white one going up top here. Let me cut this stem off of this one. I'm going to be using this one instead. So I began adding my moss in between my pumpkins. Then I put on the white one and added moss in between, trimmed it up all around, and just made sure the moss was filling in all the spaces. All right, gang, I know you were worried about it being ragged on the end and so forth, and this is how I fix that, because you can reuse anything you got, and you can tie up your ends. And jute twine makes it totally gone country and gives it that country feel and beauty that is so traditional. Just finishes off that raw edge, so there's no worries. Covers it up, makes it pretty. Now for an extra touch on this, I've got these little chalkboard wood stakes from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to take one of these and I can put it in here with my topiary. And I'm just going to write Happy Fall, y'all. So I hope you guys enjoyed making the little mini pumpkin topiary with a little clay pot. We got our bow. We have our happy fall, y'all. We can put that on a desk or give it to a loved one or someone in a rest home or someone, you know, just needs a little cheering up. It's a great little gift for fall. And there we go. It's part of our Pumpkin Express for our farmhouse decor. Now I got the truck from the Dollar Tree. This one is for the fall. It has the pumpkins on it. And since I am so loving this agate from Waverly, I'm going to use it because I really am a big fan of the blue truck. But this agate is kind of a greenish blue color, and it's really, really attractive. It's just a beautiful blue-green color, almost to the point of very sea coastal color. And so I'm going to very quickly brush that base on to my truck. Now I'm going to do my pumpkins. And this is actually the Waverly pumpkin. And I'm going to do it, of course, the pumpkin orange. And if you will put some hot glue in the little holder hole like I did right there, then you'll be able to paint over it. And I did the same right there. That is the celery, Waverly celery. I want that vintage look to my vintage truck, and the Waverly chalks have that vintage feel to them. They really are excellent for if you're wanting to accomplish that vintage look. Now I'm going to be speeding through this, but I went back and I painted the wood around the back end with the truffle to fix what I'd messed up. Silvered my hubcaps and whitened the tires. I also take that silver and I trim around the little window, the handle, and the door. And you guys, what I also did is I took my black marker, paint marker, and I will put the outer edge for the tires, because originally back in the day, all tires were recapped because you were poor. You couldn't afford an actual tire. So they would be white with the black rubber recaps on them. And I used a black magic marker to really make them intense. So to get it all in direct proportion, and the shading and so forth is just dry brushing. But I hope you guys enjoyed painting your truck as much as I do. So we've got our vintage truck painted and set. And I am wanting to set my truck up. So I'm going to take 2 of the wooden pieces from Dollar Tree, the wooden stems, and glue it to the area where the tires are back here, so that I can get this to set up for me. If it turns out that I don't like it, I can take them off and just apply this to a sign, or I can hang it back up. Okay, we've got our wood stems on there, and voila, our sign will set up and it will have a lean to it, so it sets up really, really good. It looks nice. To show you what I have in mind with this tea light, I'm going to pull that little plastic piece out that helps it to burn, and I am wanting to place that back here so that it gives a silhouette behind my pumpkins when it's sitting up. So what I'm going to do is, I know that I want that tea light to sit about there. I'm going to take one of the wood stems and I'm going to glue it there so that it will hold up my tea light. And I think I want it about right there. So I have to adjust it in order to get that to sit about where I want it. I don't need it, just so it stays put. So my sign will be sitting, and it's on an incline. I've got my tea light. I'm going to place it on the little wood stem, and voila, we have our glowing little pumpkins and on our vintage sign. Hope you guys can make that out. I will get you some better photographs, I promise. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Our little vintage blue truck. Using some scotch tape, I scotch taped my tea light to the back. Stay tuned for the B-roll. Well, to say that she is not a beauty would be an understatement. Oh boy, she always has my heart a-thumping. I love the little blue truck, but it hits closer to home. My father and I, this is some of the best memories I have with my dad. And, well, I'm not going to get emotional, but here is our ribbon pumpkin. Here is our mini pumpkin topiary. Isn't she adorable? It is happy fall, y'all. This would cheer someone's desk up and really make them feel good, and a great celebration of all the bounty that the good Lord has brought us. I hope you enjoyed doing these DIYs as much as I love bringing them to you guys. Now please enjoy the music, enjoy the blue truck, and if you'll look closely in the background, I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of some ideas that are coming up soon in the upcoming videos. Please subscribe so that you don't miss out on these great ideas. Thank you so much for coming along. This is Elizabeth, over and out. Bye guys.